What's up, everyone? We're back.
New Year.
Happy New Year to all of you resolutioners.
Yeah, what's your resolution?
I don't have one.
None? Not one?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
I guess I don't really have one either.
Just trying to get better and hotter and richer.
Hey, that's kind of mine too. That's been my mantra.
Girl,
I'm like, I'm gonna make a lot of money this year. That's my goal.
Shoot.
Because it's probably the last year that I can, but
We're
gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make it big. I can believe it. I believe it. I definitely do. Well, we're starting off the new year strong with a nice little chick fight to pop it off.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. You know, people are saying that UFC isn't woke, but I beg to differ. It's a very woke card coming up.
What else besides women headlining makes it woke?
I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. That's fair enough.
That's all you need. I mean, it doesn't matter that people mainly objectify the headliner of the card sexually, but
I mean, it's
aside from that, that is a woman breaking through the glass ceiling with her submission skills and her ass.
Yeah.
It's
what more could you ask for?
It's a 1-2 punch. Yeah, there you go.
And I mean, there are two females on the card, and they both pack a punch. They're both very decorated grapplers.
Yeah,
easy on the eyes.
Yes,
wear very short shorts.
Yeah, there you go.
Very bubbly personalities. I mean, it's a win all the way around.
Yeah, you're gonna maybe see some cheekage.
Definitely cheekage.
Definitely, maybe quadruple cheekage, 4 cheeks.
Yeah, definitely.
4 cheeks pouring out the
you guys should be
shorts.
saying thank you. You guys were very good last year.
I guess it's not very woke after all. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. Oh, well, I'm excited about it. It's a meaningful matchup at strawweight, and I think it's going to be a fun one to kick off the new year. Should we jump into that? Or should we talk about other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you started it.
Yeah, I guess
we'll finish. Tease this year.
Teases make more money.
They do.
Yeah. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? That's what they always say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my mama said, at least.
She was right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to tease this time. Let's jump into it. I'm kind of leaning towards Dern just because Ribas doesn't look as good at strawweight. I feel like she looks more vulnerable. It's similar to the thing we were saying about Yasmin, how she looks great in training, but as soon as you cut that weight, you just look a little easier to drop, a little easier to hurt and throw off your game. And I feel like we've seen that with Ribas. Even in her last win at strawweight, I think it was Pinheiro, she got pieced up in the beginning of that fight. So I feel like Dern has the same ability to just throw everything into her punches, come forward, maybe drop her before she jumps on top of her. And I feel like it might be a rough night for Ribas just because of that.
I was watching their previous fight this morning, and I see a lot of improvements in both ladies, but more on Dern's side. Don't get me wrong, Ribas has been looking really good in her fights. I think she's been putting her punches and strikes together a little bit better, been following up, whereas in their first fight, she kind of just hit and moved. I see Dern coming forward a lot more in this fight. Yeah. I think Dern has filled in more gaps since they fought, and she just looks like a little bit more of a complete fighter these days, and I think she has a lot more confidence in her strikes. The thing is, I still see her trying to take it to the ground, whereas she had a lot of trouble with that in their first fight. And we have to also consider that Ribas is a little bit bigger of a body. And her takedown defense and her counters to Dern's entries and takedown attempts were there, and I think they'll still be there. I do agree that there is that danger zone with the weight cutting and the potential to get dropped a little bit. We'll just have to see. I think that Ribas manages her distance a little bit better. So I'm still on the fence about it.
On the fence, Jess.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Ribas looks better at Ribas. Sorry, she looks better at 125, or at least just more durable. And we know Dern has that power. I mean, I felt it. So there's gonna be that chaos in the beginning. Because you have two women who are known for their grappling, but really throw down with the striking. They throw all their weight into it because they're not as afraid to go to the ground. So you really see them commit to punches. And I think Dern is able to take a bit more damage than Ribas is on the feet. And that's going to be the real game changer. Also, it's the selling out that Dern does. Ribas does it a little bit with her hip throws or her takedowns, but Dern really sells out, and I feel like that's been able to tire out Ribas in the past, and I think she'll be able to use the improvements in her striking as well as that ability to still commit to everything to just make it a really rough night.
I could see it going either way, to be honest. I think that you make really, really valid points, but I also do see Ribas maybe having that time off from cutting down to strawweight so often. It could have, given her a little bit more life expectancy in the strawweight division.
Life expectancy?
Yeah, well,
she won't die.
I just mean on her chin. You know what I mean. I hope you guys know what I mean.
She has a longer expiration date on her chin. It won't spoil as soon.
Because she hasn't been, damaging her body with the weight cuts, and damaging her body with those tough, gritty fights. She's been coming out on top. I've been really impressed with her durability and her volume and her striking, her just and her tenacity. I just think is on both sides. But I feel like Ribas might inch it out.
She could. She definitely could. She has good wins at strawweight. Virna, she was able to beat in 2021. And then she was able to get a big strawweight win against Luana Pinheiro. But again, she took a ton of damage in that first round. And I feel like Pinheiro's track record of gassing out in the second followed her in that fight. If she was able to keep that pace on into the second and third, she would have been able to win that one. So I think that Dern is able to do that. She has the stamina to go all 3 rounds, and we've seen her improve in the striking ability in her last was her last one Loopy? What was her last?
I think so.
Yeah, she. But I just remember in her fight with Loopy, I was impressed that she was able to keep it going, keep that. What do you call it? Just the stamina going, and
no, she always comes in shape, and she always is very aggressive. Yeah, her last win was Loopy. She lost to Amanda Lemos, and then Jessica Andrade.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think she's been improving. I think that last fight was a good testimony to that, and the Lemos fight too. It was a really close fight. It could have gone either way. I think Lemos just did a little more damage, but with Ribas, I feel like she doesn't have that slickness in the striking category. She's more so one of those fighters who kind of hit pads. Like, she's gonna throw the combo that she's been working on that should work. Yeah. But if it doesn't, she doesn't make adjustments. And I think that's why she had trouble with Rose when she went up and fought her, because she doesn't make those slick adjustments in the striking in order to just find the openings that you don't plan for.
Fair enough to say that. And I have been impressed with Mackenzie's striking. She's just been more educated in her strikes lately. And I mean, either way, I think this is going to be a really fan-friendly fight, a really great main event to start out the new year, because both ladies bring it no matter what. Cheekage.
There will be cheeks.
There will.
What do you think about the co-main?
The co-main, I have, so it's Ponzinibbio versus Harris, and looking at their footage, I just see Ponzinibbio being able to get this one done. Harris is, more of an bright ones and twos kind of striker. And I think Ponzinibbio, the way he mixes up his volume, his boxing, his pressure against the cage, I think he's going to get this one decisively.
Yeah, Ponzinibbio, he's one of those people who have been around for a long time and just never disappoints when he gets out there. Like, he's always fighting the toughest people. And this one seems like maybe a little gift for Ponzinibbio. Like, maybe
I hate to say that.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but I know what you're saying.
Just to throw up something like his last 2 fights, he fought Kevin Holland and got knocked out, and then Muslim Salikov lost a split decision. So it's like, okay, you're fighting really tough guys. Here's someone who hasn't really proven himself yet. Mm-hmm. Let's see what you can do with Carlston over there. How Brazilian sounding in that is that name?
Like, gee, I wonder where this guy's from.
It's like Winson.
I know. Brazilians are famously known for putting together their own names and make them sound kind of American.
It's like, oh, I like this guy and this guy. I'm going to put them together and make a name that represents both things that I like. You can tell who his mom was a fan of, I guess, when you look at certain Brazilians' names.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think this one, I'm going to say Ponzinibbio takes it. And then moving down from that fight, we have Cesar Almeida and Abdul Razak Alhassan. That was a mouthful for me.
Good job. Woo! I wasn't going to try.
This one, I feel like they're similar fighters in their approach to fights, although so they're, kind of stalkers, pressure fighters, power shots. I think Alhassan has a few more tools that he's been working on. We saw in his like previous fights, he's trying to mix in like cage pressure and grappling in there, but he has that one punch knockout power.
Yeah.
And I mean, technically Almeida does
kick.
Or one kick. That too. I'm leaning toward Alhassan in this one, just because I feel like Cesar doesn't get on the gas pedal as much. He's not as tenacious, not as much volume, not as much go-getter, and I think Alhassan might take this one. But either one are very dangerous.
I'm trying to. Do you remember what happened with the illegal elbows with Brundage?
Was it that the 12-6?
Is that what happened?
I think so.
Interesting. So who landed the illegal elbows? Was it Brundage or Alhassan?
I don't remember.
Okay, I need to see what happened.
Look at it.
Okay, yes, it was Alhassan.
Yeah.
Alhassan was on top throwing illegal elbow. Well, they were kind of back of the head. So I think that's why it was a no contest. But
and then a lot of people got mad that he milked it. But,
yeah.
those were big, powerful elbows to the back of your head. Let me know how you feel after that happens.
Yeah. It was a lot of damage to the back of the skull. That portion where you're not supposed to hit. Whenever you're throwing a 12-6, you kind of want to make sure you frame up the side of the head. They always say try to hit the ear or the back of the ear so you know that you're not hitting the back of the skull. So I remember seeing that and not really being sure if I agreed with it just because of the milking, but like, yeah, I've never taken an elbow to the back of the skull before, so I can't really talk as to how bad it was illegally. But any shot to the back of the head is bad, and the fact that it was a 12-6 elbow as well just coupled it. What's the over under? We see some 12-6 now that they're legal. Ooh.
No. Well, and this one on the other side of it. So Almeida had his last fight against Ihor Porteria.
Oh, good job.
My God. I know, correct me.
Please don't hate us.
So in this fight though, Almeida's poor opponent, Porteria.
Poor.
ate
Opponentaria.
so many fingers to the eyes and a grind shot. And this is the one where the ref kept separating unnecessarily. Like after like 5 seconds, he would separate, and it was Potieria's like only chance in the third round because it was pretty much 1-1.
Yeah.
And going into the third, and he finally got in and was trying to utilize that game plan and get Almeida down because he had been able to get Almeida down previously. And the ref just would not let it happen. It was crazy. Commentary was going crazy. They were saying this is laughable kind of thing.
That's crazy.
It was not funny at all. It was terrible calls by ref Dave Seljestad.
Oh yeah, we were like, who is this guy?
I hope we never see him again.
Probably not. Probably not gonna. Yeah, that's wild.
It was a really wild fight with the terrible calls and lack of calls by this ref.
Yeah, that whole Utah card was pretty wild. Like they were being, I think even some of the more veteran refs were being very quick to separate and stuff. The Utah card was pretty infamous that year or last year. That year, so long ago.
2025.
So yeah, I remember that being a big deal. Yeah, dang. So we might have a bit of a foul fest.
We might
today.
That might be a Duelbits, make your own bet kind of thing.
Yeah, prop bet. What do they call it? Pick your bet. Is it a pick your prop bet or something like that? Duelbits, choose your bet. Choose your bet. How many fouls, or will there be fouls by both opponents in the Cesar Almeida versus Abdul Razak Alhassan?
That would be something to look into. These guys.
Hit up Duelbits right now and send it over there. There's going to be a big over-under for that. I feel like you're not going to make much money on that bet.
It's okay. It's fine. A win's a win.
No fouls is probably like plus 500.
It might be.
Definitely. Well, we got to talk about our boy who so graciously graced us with an interview over the holidays.
Chris Curtis, what a guy.
Yeah, he's fun.
Amazing energy, just such a cool person. Like I always measure my likability by like, would I want to have a beer with this guy? Yes. Some people know, not at all. But Chris Curtis was really funny and honest, and I just really appreciated his energy.
Yeah, I felt like I could tell him all my deepest, darkest secrets, and he wouldn't judge me.
And it would be okay.
Yeah. He wouldn't get on Reddit and spread the news or tweet about it 5 seconds later. He seems like an awesome guy. His wife loves me, which is why we got the interview. Thanks, wife. He has a beautiful kid. He has 2 beautiful kids. I haven't seen the other one, but I'm assuming. He's super determined to put on a great show just to get in a fist fight. And I love that. I love when people are, I know it's not the smartest thing to be as a fighter, but I love when people are more focused on the entertainment value of their fights than like just winning. Because that's why you see so many people getting cut after one loss. It's because they get in there and they'll do something really boring. They'll press up against the cage. They'll run and jab, or they'll get a takedown and hold it forever. And everyone's like, what are we watching? We're supposed to be watching an entertainment sport. So I know that's not, always the case. But with him, he definitely focuses on the entertainment value of his sport, and he gets in a phone booth fight every time he fights. Like, he gets in there, he gets in the clinch, he throws elbows and knees, he throws nasty punches from the outside, and it's really fun watching this guy perform. So I'm excited because on the other side, Roman Kopylov is another guy with just that ability to wow.
And he's not one of the ovs that goes for the takedowns.
No, he's a good ov.
He's a good ov.
He's the kind of ov that I would want to fight. I'm like, get this other ov off of me.
Stop hugging me. I need space.
Get him off.
Said no.
Get him off.
Acid.
See what I said?
Yeah. I got it.
Yes. No, he is fighting Roman Kopylov, who is also a really fun kickboxer to watch. And Curtis was saying that he's started going for takedowns more in his fights too.
Yeah, again, you have to balance the entertainment aspect, but you also have to win.
Yeah.
Entertainment will only get you so far. So, you have to take into consideration some strategy. You have to look at your opponent's strengths and weaknesses and figure out the best route to victory at some points, and then be flashy where you can. But this one I think is also going to be a very fan friendly fight. I think this is one that the fans will definitely appreciate.
Not as much cheekage though.
Not as much cheekage, but you got abs and pecs. You got abs and pecs.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe just a little less bouncage, but But yeah, both these guys are going to bring it. Guaranteed fun fight, definitely.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Who you have winning? Why don't you tell us? Put you on the spot.
I got to go for Chris Curtis in this one. Roman Kopylov.
Because he's your boy.
Because he's my new boy, but he's my boy.
Our new boy.
But I got to go for the veteran status, the grittiness, the determination. He's been in there with some of the greats. And he's still got it. He's still pushing forward. And I think that, he has the tools to, put Roman on his heels and, potentially get that knockout.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it happen. His last win, Roman Kopylov's, was Cesar Almeida, who we were just talking about. So, yeah, it should be interesting to see all these fights play out and see who comes out on top. One last fight I wanted to talk about is the strawweight fight on the prelims.
Oh, okay.
We got your girl, Fatima Kline.
Is she my girl?
I don't know. You were talking about her before. I thought you had all this info because you watched her fight in another promotion or something.
I watched her fight in Invicta.
Yeah, and you were like, oh, she's really good.
She has good striking.
Maybe that's someone else.
No, that was somebody else. That was probably Jasmine Jasdovicius.
Oh, yeah.
When I was doing commentary for CFFC, I got to see quite a few of her fights. And,
okay.
I've enjoyed watching her progression and then getting into the big show.
Okay. Well, Fatima Kline, she's a name that I've heard of when trying to get friends of mine's fights outside of the UFC. And that was a name that would pop up. And then I'd look at her fights and I go, I don't think they're ready for that yet. Because she's pretty legit. Her only loss is her first one into the UFC, and that was at a higher weight class. A lot of fighters end up doing that. Tabitha Ricci had to do that, fight at 125 against Mignon Fiore in order to get a shot at being in the UFC at 115. So the same thing happened with Fatima Kline. Now she gets to fight at her actual weight class, and she's fighting the girl, if you remember, who had staph in places. I could not say. Places I shall not say.
In all the places. Oh, honey, don't say anymore.
So I'm hoping that she is staph free and able to perform at her best. That was like 2 or 3 fights ago, though. So that's the kind of thing that kind of sticks with your image. But the girl has decent takedowns. This Viktoriia Dudkova. She has really good takedowns. She trains with, it looks like she trains with a bunch of Dagestanis. Like maybe she's on Team Dagestani when it comes to the women, but she's a good wrestler, and she does well enough on the feet, enough to set up her takedowns and stuff. So it'll be a good entry fight for Fatima Kline. If she can get past Dudkova, it'll show that she has some real upside in the UFC.
Yeah, I like Fatima's striking, but I haven't seen much in the way of her groundwork. I think she's primarily a pretty clean striker, so I think it'll be prudent of Dudkova to kind of push the grappling and make her uncomfortable. Take Kline out of where she's more comfortable and dominant.
Yeah, I think when I watched her, like maybe one or two of her fights, she just seemed like really good all around. Like there wasn't a spot where you can go, ooh, we can get her here. She's just a really well-rounded fighter. And to see that on the regional scene is always kind of rare. A lot of times you see people come into the UFC and then become that, but she already kind of had those skills outside of UFC. So I think she's got what it takes to take on Dudkova. I'm excited to see that fight. And yeah, we'll hope that they don't have any scuzz, any weird marks or pimples in the weigh-in photos.
Just make sure you give the commission a double wink to like double examine her. You know what? I know you're cold from your weight cut and you're rehydrating and you're shivering, but strip down, please.
Oh, so gross. And you know it happens often where people fight with staff and they don't say anything. I feel like it's just one of those things I wouldn't want to know. Like but then maybe you would, because then you're showering immediately after you get out of the cage. I don't know. I don't know which is better, to not know and not think about it the whole time, the fact that you were rolling around in someone's pus, or to know and be able to go and just wash yourself clean immediately before you do press or anything to make sure you don't get it as well.
Either way, I mean, you can't shower right after the fight.
There's showers there. There's showers in the locker room.
If the press wants to talk to you, you go talk to the press. You're kind of at their beck and call, and then you can go shower. Maybe, but all of your bags are taken to the car, so you may have to go to the hotel.
I've walked a teammate to the makeup room before she had to do press, so I know they'll make time. If you need time to wash staph off of your face, they'll make time.
Well, if they're not being seen as having staph, then you're not gonna know. So she's gonna hide it again.
She's gonna put it somewhere where she cannot speak of. Speaking of not that this is a sign
speaking
of
staph.
No, well, I mentioned she was training
infectious diseases.
Oh God, no. Quit trying to get me canceled, Jess. Speaking of the fact that she trains with a lot of Dagestani guys, or it looks like it. You know, she's Russian and she's training with guys with no mustache and full beards. There's been a lot of debate between Ireland and the Dagestani MMA scene.
Have there? How so?
I don't know why, but
I don't know how you can even compare them. It's like apples and oranges.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it's such a different group, a different grouping of skills, a different level of achievement.
When I think of Ireland, I think of this.
Yeah.
The little leprechaun. And
what was that thing called? The Throne? The Throne logo?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, remember the little guy with the
I thought it was Notre Dame.
Oh, well, that's the lion.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of like old MMA brands, but yeah, that's the same thing. I think of this when I think of Ireland, and then when I think of Dagestani, I think of smesh. Yes. Beard, no mustache, smesh. Yes. That's what I think of. And it really is two totally different things. It's like comparing, I don't know, kickboxers to wrestlers. Or boxers to wrestle, well, which is what we just said. That was a pointless sentence, but
apples and oranges.
It's the same thing. So the reason this popped up, and it's indicative of how stupid the conversation is. The reason this is a conversation at all is because the PFL is promoting one of their fights as basically Khabib versus Conor McGregor 2.
But it's
even
not.
Though it's two different.
But it's not.
It's not. So
I need to hear more now.
So now I gotta look up for the guys' names. The reason they're doing this is because they don't promote their actual fighters, so you don't know their actual fighters' names, which is the reason why they're having so many problems with putting on fights, and
guys aren't helping yourselves.
You're just doing it the wrong way. Okay, so Usman Nurmagomedov, cousin of Khabib, he is fighting. He does, right? He's fighting an Irish guy who I cannot find his name, but he's fighting on the PFL. I'm gonna find it, and basically they're promoting it as Khabib versus Conor 2, even though it has nothing to do
with them
with it. So as a result, Conor McGregor sound off, and he was saying how I really don't know. It looked like a coked out tweet, but he was basically just
Aren't
going,
they all?
You guys are bums. Your wife's a towel. Blah blah blah. You know, like doing all that. That's an old quote. He didn't say that just now. That's an old one, but basically it was one of those rants where he was just like, Dagestani is blah, 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 Ireland MMA is more advanced, blah, blah, blah. And so then all these other fighters started chiming in, like other, fighters from, well, not even Ireland, like Darren Till chimed in, Michael Bisping, other people came to Conor's defense, and then Khabib doubled down. And a lot of people are thinking that it's not actually Khabib, but it's Ali saying what Khabib, I guess, would say. And so here's Khabib's tweet, his last tweet on the subject. And he goes, "You can say whatever you want, but if we're talking about facts, you can't compare Irish fighters with fighters from Dagestan," which is what we said.
Fair.
We dominate amateur MMA, and it's not even close. Not just compared to Irish fighters, but the whole world. I'm absolutely confident that if we were to organize a team versus team matchup, Dagestan would defeat a world team in amateur MMA. And when it comes to professional MMA, we have champions, contenders, and ranked fighters in every major league. Show me Irish fighters who are currently title contenders in the top 3 MMA promotions. At best, you might be able to name 1 or 2 fighters. The facts speak for themselves. Who do you think wrote that?
Not him.
As soon as he said, "Show me Irish fighters," show me location of fighters currently title contenders in top 3 MMA organizations, I will tell you, we are number 1.
Maybe he wrote a draft and then it was edited.
They sent it to ChatGPT like Mike Perry did with his cop apology.
Yeah, at least he tried.
Oh man.
No, you can tell when a manager or publicist steps in. It's for the good of the fighter.
Yeah.
It's always for the greater good.
Usually there is a point though where you express, "Hey, I want to say this, but I'm not sure how to say it.
Yeah.
But this is how I'm feeling." And we'll go, "I'm just like fed up. I want people to know this, and that." And you're saying it in your Khabib voice, but they jot down all the important points, and then they write it out in a very, press release fashion.
Yes.
And that's what it seems is happening here. Yeah. But I still don't understand why this has become a
it
huge
shouldn't be
debate,
a thing.
because
it shouldn't be a thing.
It's obvious that Dagestani fighters are taking over in MMA. A lot of it has to do with the rule set. A lot of it has to do with their ability to control the fight and to put it where they need it to be in order to score and win decisions, get submissions, all that kind of stuff. The work ethic, like there's a lot in there where, yeah, you have to give props to all these fighters who are inspired by Team Khabib, who are inspired by the way that they train, and they're doing really well with it. Irish fighters have a different background. They have a totally different way of training. They're more flashy. They're more, dare I say, exciting. Like it's more of a striking based fight style. So yeah, you're gonna have more people who fail in MMA because of that. There's a lot more risk in the way that a lot of Irish fighters fight. It's why Ian Gary. What is that boy's name? It's why Ian Gary had to change his style. He's training with a lot of wrestlers, a lot of high level wrestlers, high level grapplers, in order to change his style where it's less risky, because he was going there and taking the damage of a title fight in a 1-round knockout win. So I think it's unfair to compare the two because they're so different inherently, and like, would you really want to have one over the other? It's nice to have a variety. It's nice to have this whole mix of skills. And that's why MMA exists in the first place, because we wanted to see real life Street Fighter. We wanted to see what someone who fights like Blanca does against someone who has the karate of Ryu. You know what I mean? And then like when you see all those different styles come together and fight, it's really fun and exciting. So yeah, I think it's lame to have this debate. Nobody is debating who has the best numbers. You know, I think the real debate is which style do you want to watch, or which is more fun to, I guess, see win. But like, they're all fun. You know, like they all have their different. We're not gonna not want to watch Khabib fight. We're not gonna not want to watch Shavkat fight. We're not gonna not want to watch Ian Gary fight, you know, or Conor McGregor get back in there. We're going to watch that whether he's 50. We're still going to show up and watch that fight because it's going to be exciting either way. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just odd that it's at the top of the news in 2025. And it's
well, it's been, to be fair, it's been a slow few weeks in MMA, so they needed to fill it with something. Just like the headline of McGregor versus Paul, Logan Paul.
What?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that one?
No, I did not.
It's going to be...
I must not have looked at the news that day.
Yeah. So they're doing a boxing match.
It's happening. When?
And they're getting millions and millions of dollars. Jeez. I don't have the date, but they just announced that it is happening.
Is that going to be on YouTube? I mean, not on YouTube. Sorry, on Netflix. I'm stuck in 2020.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Okay.
I will pull it up right now.
And I feel horrible for not knowing that Irish fighter's name, who is the other half of Khabib McGregor too. Man, I need to figure that. Oh, okay, here it is.
Well, I think
Paul Hughes. That's who it is. Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes, and they're what do you call it? Promoting it as Dagestan versus Ireland Part 2, which is the lamest thing you could do.
It's a weird take on it.
As a promotion that is
promote
competing,
your own fighters.
that is supposed to be competing against the UFC.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So proposed McGregor versus Paul boxing match in India is coming together fast and could happen sooner than you might expect. It's targeted for April.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. Who you got?
McGregor. I hope to God McGregor.
It's like we're running out of people to root for.
I know.
It's never going to happen, is it?
I don't know. It's supposed to be for like an insane amount of money. So,
ooh, okay.
Yeah, megabucks, $250 million.
Dang. All right. That's a big payday.
Yeah. So I think they're both showing up for this one, especially with all of McGregor's legal troubles and getting dropped from sponsors after the verdict of his court cases. I think he probably should.
Yeah. He has to make sure he could pay the mortgage on his yacht.
Yeah.
Poor McGregor. I feel like he needs a handler.
He needs a publicist.
Not just a publicist. I'm sure he already has a publicist, but I feel like
they need to be fired.
He needs someone who they can handcuff him to that won't get beat up and the keys stolen from him. Like some big old, I don't know, Brock Lesnar size bodyguard that can just I don't know, at least slow him down if he's
Just
chained to
somebody-
him.
He needs people around him that actually care for his health and his safety and him as a person.
Well,
There's
I bet.
just so many people that want to say yes. They want to be part of the show. They want to be part of the party. They don't want it to stop, and it needs to stop.
But he does sound terrifying when he's on one. You know what I mean? Like I would not want to be left alone at a Conor McGregor party because he sounds like once he gets going, I feel like whether you care about him or not, he can't be stopped. And who's gonna stop him? Like you're gonna have to hire Khabib to hang out with him. Like that's the only answer.
Beep, we need you.
Like, Poirier, are you busy? Like, we just need you to just hang out with Conor. He is having a party. It's really important. He can't get into trouble. Just be a bodyguard, be a buddy, be a wingman, and stop him from doing bad stuff.
I think the answer. I mean, you got to stop it before that. You can't go out anymore. Man.
You're not allowed to go to any parties.
No, you're not allowed. You have proven time and time again that these are not good ideas.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What do you do with something like that?
Unfortunate. Yeah. It's just, I mean, and what's going to make him learn, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Usually people hit a rock bottom and that's, that'll send them on the way back up and on the way to healing and working on themselves. But I don't know. I hope something changes.
Yeah. Well, John Jones seems to be doing okay right now. He hasn't gotten into trouble in a long time. And he's what was that face for?
I was like, didn't he just get in trouble?
What did he do?
The USADA people, with the testing people.
Oh, but that was understandable.
That doesn't
Come on,
count.
Jess. Of all people,
No, fuck
you
USADA.
have sided with him.
I have, but technically that's technically a mark.
All I gotta say is
Cops were called.
all I gotta say is if USADA or NUSADA, it was NUSADA, not old USADA, but if NUSADA showed up during our Thanksgiving absinthe extravaganza.
Well, I was passed out, so I don't know what I would have done.
I feel like they would have had trouble getting that sample.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It would have been a hoot for us.
I would have had fun. I would have had fun.
Here's the cup. Oh, catch.
Oh,
my
sorry, I
God.
didn't fill it up all the way. Guess you gotta stay.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Just put it out there. Well, that should be fun. I'm excited about that. I don't care who wins.
I really hope McGregor wins. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the bullshit.
Oh man. Any other news that popped up while everyone was taking a break from fighting?
Dude. So this made me pretty sad. Hold on. Where did
Oh
you
no.
go? Where did you go?
What happened?
Where the fuck is it? Why is my bank coming up? Hold on. I gotta dig through. I
Yeah.
had this pulled up so I'd be ready for it. All right. Themba Gorimbo,
Oh yeah.
after following his loss to Vincent Luque, his short notice fight, basically he was interviewed saying that his family members were celebrating his UFC 310 stoppage loss to Vincent Luque. So he basically had his whole family sending him messages and cheering for his loss.
Dang.
Family members,
Dang.
cousins, aunties, uncles.
What'd he do?
So he says, and I mean, there's always two sides of the story. That was the first thing I asked. I was like, damn, bro, what'd you do to your family?
Right?
Were you getting like diva status on them? What'd you do?
Could
But
have been.
it could have been, but basically, to like Cliff's notes, he said some of his cousins were celebrating his losses. They were all celebrating. They sent videos. And he said that all I try to do is better for everyone. I might not directly help you, but maybe I want to, build a well for the community. But somebody from his family will message him saying that, they need money, and then he gets it from like all of his family members, and everybody thinks that he has a lot more money than he does because he's in the UFC, but that's just not the case. He is an entry-level fighter still. And although he's had exciting fights and, he's been in the news with The Rock, helping him and stuff, I think that basically what's happening simply just from an outside perspective is his family sees his success and they think he's more successful than he actually is financially. And so they are taking it personally that he's not giving them what they asked for.
Yeah. Well, that's a really tough situation to be in, because you never want to deny someone help if they really need it. But as soon as you help one person, then they find out. Like somebody else might find out, and then word gets around that you are Santa Claus.
Yeah.
and everyone's asking for a handout. And it sucks because you never know what the situation is. There's always two sides of the story. But he seems like a nice guy. Like I've met him before. He doesn't seem like a horrible person or someone who would just, I don't know, just piss on the family that he came from. I feel like he moved out here to get better opportunities, to get better training, and be able to fight short notice. All those things that happen when you move out to Vegas. Sometimes people take offense to that too. When you leave your country in order to train somewhere else, in order for the benefits that you get somewhere else. I mean, that was the whole drama with the Dricus du Plessis' comments when he said, "I'm the real African champion," when it's like there were 3 African champions at the time, and they all had to leave their country in order to get better training, better quality of training, and ability to fight as often and have all the things that you can get when you're training in America or wherever they were. It was a really rude thing for him to say, and I think people just take offense when you see other people who are able to make it happen in your country, but you decide to leave. So I don't know if it's about that or if it's about the money thing. But like you said, we don't make that much. Like even like I've had like 30 something fights in the UFC, and I'm not making as much as an entry, like not even a fraction of as much as an entry level like college football player. So I think the idea of a professional athlete's salary is skewed when you're thinking of MMA versus every other sport in the world. And a lot of people think that you're making the money that like a football player is, or a football player is, like a soccer player is, or all these other sports that are way more lucrative, and the players are getting a lot more money. The players have unions and stuff, and they're able to get healthcare and all this other stuff. Like we have to save every dollar we have so that we're not broke 5 years after we retire. And if Themba's not giving it all out willy-nilly, then good for him, because there's no telling, especially after a loss like that, there's no telling how long you're going to be able to make money in the UFC. Like they can cut you for way less reasons. And that's why you gotta kind of get your money grab while you can and try to hold on to it and try to just make it bigger, try to grow your money with your own money. And it's hard to do that when you're giving it out to people.
Yeah, I think I think it's really unfortunate if in fact that is the case, that his family is behaving this way because they're not getting what they are asking for, because a lot of people just don't realize that we don't have it like that. Yeah. It's different. And I know that, currency exchange and all that kind of stuff. And I know that a lot of, I've seen it before, like people from other countries, like especially their sons are meant to support their family, And so I think it's a miscommunication. I think it's an assumption. I think it's really unfortunate that a family would be torn apart over something like that.
Yeah. I wonder if he has a core group out of those people who ride with him no matter what. Because it seems like he's really cut up about it. So I wonder if he feels like he has no one, or if he has, because with my family, like I have a pretty small family, but I know that my mom and my brothers are always going to be on my side, win, lose, whatever. But yeah, there's always the outliers, the extended families, the cousins that can be a little weird, and
have you experienced that?
Not really. Like I'll just get, like, I have like one uncle that I've had to block because he kept saying dumb stuff. But it wasn't that he didn't believe in me. It was, well, it kind of was, but you know how people can care so much and do no research on the subject. They just care. And so they'll say things that just make you annoyed, and because it's online, it's like, oh, block. Goodbye. Don't need that little bird in my ear. No, thank you. But, it doesn't, because you talk to your close family more often, they understand what things are going to trigger you and what aren't. And if they love you, they try to just support you in a way that's not going to trigger you. And, like, my family's really good with that. Like, my core, like, people. Yeah. And it's important to have that, because if you don't, well, it's not important to have it, but when you have it, it's really nice, because a lot of times it doesn't work that way. Like, a lot of times people don't understand what you're doing. They don't understand that the risk that you're taking, the effort that you're putting in, and they can be flippant with things like, oh, why don't you quit? Or, oh, why don't you get a real job? Or why don't you give me some of that money that you made? You made all this money, like, give me some. And it's a very, like, that's the only money I made this year, and maybe for the next couple of years. Like, I need to hold on to all of it, and half of it's going to taxes, coaches, gyms, all that stuff. So it's a tough idea for a lot of people to wrap their head around, and when your family can understand that, then you feel really grateful for it.
No, I think it's important for athletes to have a core group of people that support and understand. And you need a handful of people, if that. Yeah. One or two people that can hold it down for you and understand and hold space for you is really important. And if you have more than that, then you're definitely a very lucky person. But it can be really a very lonely place when you're, striving towards a goal that people don't understand. And a lot of people tend to make assumptions and project things and see things from, point of views that aren't necessarily accurate, and just put a lot of negativity into that space. So it's important to stay grounded. It's important to have a really good circle of people around you that, you can feel safe with and protect your energy.
Yeah. And people who aren't going to go, oh, yeah, I hope you don't fight that Ronda Rousey because she's just breaking everyone's arms. This never happened. Oh,
God. Yeah, sir.
Please stop. This is the 5th time you've said this on my post.
Thank God for that block.
Doesn't mean I don't love you. I just don't want to hear that.
I just can't.
I'll
see you at Christmas, maybe.
There you go. You can tell it to me in person. Oh my goodness.
And if they catch you during fight camp, it's over.
Oh no. I stay away from anyone who doesn't understand the drill during fight week. You got to understand the drill, the code of conduct for things you can and cannot say to a fighter during fight week. If you don't understand that, then...
The worst. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Well, do you know anything about your opponent?
You know what's funny? Some people can ask you those questions. Like, your coach can ask you, how you feeling? Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Like they're your coach. They're going to be there to calm your nerves. If you're just some random person...
I'll kill you right now.
No.
You want to fight?
Yeah. I need to release some steam.
It's the worst.
Yeah, don't ask that shit. Like, just be like, can't wait. You got this. Gonna be great. gonna watch.
You can do it.
Don't say anything about betting money.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
I put a bunch of money on you, so you better win. It's like, guess what? You're not gonna lose more money than I am if I lose. So I don't need that incentive. It's not anywhere on my conscience.
Why do people feel the need to share that before or after a fight? Like,
they don't know. It's ignorance. It's not. If I feel like if people knew what ticks people off before they said it, then they wouldn't say it. But you're like, hey, I'm gonna say something cool that they've never heard before, and it's the same shit.
I think that can be the most frustrating thing, because it's like you hear it from everyone.
Yeah,
we've all heard these things like per fight camp.
Yeah. That would be a good skit, actually. Like things you hear, things everyone says.
Oh, let's write that down.
That they think no one's ever said to you before a fight.
Oh, we should do that one. Oh my God.
There's so many. There's so many.
Oh, guys. Just, put the hands up emojis up there and leave it. We don't need coaching. We don't need words.
We don't.
Just put an emoji up there.
Yeah.
It'll do. Thank you.
Well, I think we can end on this note. We appreciate you, even if you annoy us sometimes. Love you. Also, I want to give a big up to our members. We got a bunch of new members this month. Thank you so for joining. We have one person's contact information, Little Nova TV, but we need was it
Tactica Moses.
Tactica Moses. Hit us up. Little Nova TV hit us up on our Instagram page, on Two Straws Instagram, which is smart because you can't send messages on YouTube. So if you do that, we'll see it, or just leave your email underneath the comments and we'll email you on the Two Straws page. And then we get contact information and give you a hat. And then next month, or I guess this month, at the end of this month, we'll be doing another raffle. So make sure you join. It's members only. If you're a member, join the raffle and we will pick 2 new winners, and I don't know what we'll give them yet. We'll figure it out.
It'll be good.
It'll be a good treat. All right. So we will see you guys next time. We'll break down the fights, and then what's after that? Is it we should go. Did you put in your request?
311?
Yeah.
I should.
It's in
LA.
LA, yeah. UFC 311.
Why
We'll
not?
break down 311. Yeah. So put in your request, Jessica. I will too. One of us will get a ticket. Probably Jess. I'll just be at the door peeking in like,
no.
Anyone want to let me in?
That's not true. You get floor seats.
I'll try to get the cameraman to sneak me in in one of their boxes, one of their equipment boxes. That'd be cool. Best seat in the house.
We'll both get in.
Yeah, we'll both get in. We're gonna manifest it. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Make sure to tune in. If you have any bets, put them in on Duelbits and use code 2straws. And what else should we promote? Go to Jess's OnlyFans. I have one too, but I don't post anything. I just post 2 straws. But you can go to mine too. And then what else? I feel like there's something else. That's it?
That's it.
That's all we do?
Yeah.
That's it. See you next time.